What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, so conversations with T. I don't do them enough, but you know, T is my homie, man. He started this whole situation with me, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into a quick conversation talking about the Marvels. Superhero content is definitely something that me and T love discussing. We talk about this stuff almost every day, even though I haven't had him on for a long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring T in right now so we can have a conversation about this whole situation with the Marvels, man, because this thing is looking super bad for the MCU right now. So what's up, T? How you doing, bro?
What's up, y'all? Hey, I'm happy to be back. Hey, I've been here in the background, but hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna love what we got for you today.
Oh man, look. We have been talking about this offline, me and UT. We have been talking about how bad Marvel has been for how long since this channel started. You know, we have been discussing it that Marvel is just not where it needs to be. They're not making good content anymore, and they're losing the fandom slowly but surely. And basically, that's where things is at right now. And you know, again, we talk about it all the time. And so this box office from the Marvels this past weekend, this doesn't surprise us at all, not in the least. And, you know, now I want to get your thoughts before we even get started. I want to get your thoughts on the movie itself, T. I'm going to put you on blast. I'm going to put you on point. What did you think of the Marvels?
Look, it was bad while I was watching it, but I tried to give it a shot. I thought Captain Marvel, Brie Larson's portrayal was much better. She's a more softer woman in this role. I thought the movie was okay, right? It was okay. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting, but it was okay.
Wow.
Now, it was bad. But I don't consider, let me finish this. It wasn't a Marvel movie to me. It was just a movie. It's a jam, right? Just a movie. And that's it. It was a jam. And I just was like, okay, all right. Like, I didn't understand it. I did not understand anything of what was going on. I didn't understand the purpose and the role. Why waste 3 characters to fight one? I think I missed like maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes of the movie. So I don't know what happened. I don't know spoilers, but I missed that part, and that must have been critical for the whole understanding of the movie because it just did not make sense to me at all.
It wasn't critical. It was. I think it was the what's her name, the villain, Dar-Benn. Going in and finding the other bracelet. I think that was the beginning. That was it.
That hammer. I'm like, how did she get Ronan's hammer? How did that have the Infinity Stone? Like, that's what I'm like, what? And then there's a portion in this movie where they go somewhere and you're like, what was that about? What?
That was the whole movie, T. The whole movie to me was, what was that about? Why is this happening? Why is this movie being written? Who is this movie for? You know, the whole time I'm sitting in theaters and I'm just looking at the screen and I don't understand why this movie is even existing because this thing it's not a good film. It's not a good film on any level. So who is it made for? Number one, who the story that they told wasn't cohesive, and it felt like they've said that this thing was edited heavily edited. And it felt like that. It felt like, okay, this was probably a reshoot here. You know, they tried to wedge something in because they had to make something make sense. Like that kind of a film and that kind of an experience. And look, nobody was checking for it anyway, but the film just made it even worse. It just made it even worse. So at this point, I don't think that Marvel has anywhere to go but, you know, up because they have reached rock bottom at this point. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like they've reached absolute rock bottom.
I agree with you 110%. It's really sad because I didn't feel cheated with my ticket money.
What?
But I didn't.
I felt cheated, man. Are you kidding me, T?
I didn't feel.
You got your money's worth?
I'm not saying I didn't get my money. I'm not saying I got my money's worth. But what I said, I just didn't feel cheated. I didn't feel cheated because I came in with low expectations anyway. You know, that's not better than a DC movie, you know, but whatever. I just think that the story just didn't jive, and it just the ending felt super duper rushed to be nothing. And
I'm glad it was too, man. Let's hurry up and go. Let's get out of here, man. I've already spent 90 minutes of my time. I'm done. Let's hurry up.
Remember what I told you at the theater. I felt like this movie could have been. It could have been on Disney Plus or on ABC.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it didn't need to be in the theaters. I don't feel like it was necessary. You could have. I feel like Miss Marvel is a joke, man. That's a joke of a character.
Hey, look, T. She was the best part of the movie, though.
She
Her
was.
and her family was the best part of the movie. But in terms of a superhero, nah, not feeling that at all. All right, let's get into this whole situation with the Marvels because we got to talk about the box office. I just did a video on this. You guys can see that above, but look at this one right here, man. Let me bring this up.
Yeah, you know she is. She's a girl, Peter Parker.
She's the girl, Peter Parker. That's a good one. I like that. But she's not really. That's who they want her to be. That's who they want her to be, T. They want her to be, hold up. They want her to be the girl, Peter Parker, but she's not the girl, Peter Parker, all right? She's this terrible character that nobody cares about. All right, so this is what this thing did in the box office right here, T. $47 million. At least that's what they're expecting it to be. They're expecting this to do $47 million opening weekend, which is by far the lowest number in the MCU's history. $55 million was the previous low for an opening weekend. That was set by the Incredible Hulk back in 2008. All right, 2008. They haven't seen anything as low. All right, it's been all the way up for the Marvels or for the Marvel Cinematic Universe until they hit this brick wall of a film. $47 million, bro. What do you think about that? Speechless. I love when you go speechless, T. It's absolutely hilarious. Yeah. So here we go right here. Let me show you this number. Okay. They expect this thing to do $21 million for Friday. And that includes the $6.6 million that it brought in on Thursday, right? So $21.5 million. That means this thing did about $14.9 million on Friday. Not even $15 million on Friday, T. That's how bad this thing has gotten. $15 million on a Friday is like what you would expect for any kind of run-of-the-mill movie that just drops out in theaters. Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe, bro. All right? That's how bad things are. But let me show you this part because this is the part that I brought up on my video, and I want to get your thoughts on this because this is huge, okay? You got to scroll way down here towards the bottom of this article, and then you're going to see it, all right? Here's the diagnostics, other diagnostics on the Marvels. 65% male leading. Can you see that? So that means that 65% of the audience that went and saw this film were men. For this female, boss girl, feminist pushing movie, but still your audience that went and saw this is 65% male. Now, T, what have we always said? Who's the audience for superhero content? Who goes and checks out superhero content? Even when you try to push it into a feminist area, you try to push feminism, you try to push girl bossism, whatever you're trying to push, 65% male, bro. Fit and look at this. Men over 25, all right, is 45%. That's me and you. We're the cast that's going to watch this stuff. What is it that Marvel missed? How did they miss so badly that they don't know who they're making their content for anymore? They make content within mind, oh, we're going to make something for the little girls. Girls need to see themselves or whatever they want to talk about. So, yeah, the girls are going to see themselves. And this is but they ain't coming to the movies. But guess what they did flock in to show? They flocked up for Barbie, right?
Right.
They showed up tight for Barbie. I want to hear your thoughts. Go.
For this one, man, I think that the way they try to, men are willing to give a good superhero movie a chance. We always talk about how Alien franchises with Ripley, man. It doesn't matter. Good movie, a good movie content. We're rooting. This narrative that men are against women is crazy. You know what I mean? Like the only one pushing that are women, and I'm like, men are not against women. I mean, like when you win, you win, right? So like when I win, we win. So I don't understand that, and you can see here in the box office numbers. Look at what it says: 65% mailing. That means men are rooting for this movie. They're not going to see, man, let me see how bad it really is. No, they say, hey, man, I hope I get this better. I hope it's better than what I expected. And it's just proven with those numbers, right? Now, as far as them coming out, they look, men, are there going to be toys from this line that men are going to buy? Maybe some, maybe not. But there's no sex appeal to this. The narrative for comic book characters are, hey, man, that's a sexy superhero, man. Man, she's a girl, man. She's a grown-up, right? Like, to be a grown up is sexy, but this just leans into a whole nother off topic subject about just responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And being good with your health, trying to make the best of your things. Right. The problem with Disney buying this thing is they try to make this for the everyday person, and it's not for the everyday person. Right. Some people don't like Harry Potter. Some people don't like Game of Thrones, but it's okay. That means just because they're not a fan of it right now doesn't mean they can't be a fan later. There's been plenty of shows. How many shows have you watched before that? Oh man, I missed it when it first came out, man. Then you watch it years later. Like, man, this is a great show.
Yeah.
Why did I miss this? Because it's all about the timing. The timing of this movie is not well. You should have called this Captain Marvel 2, right? Captain Marvel 2 with Photon and freaking Miss Marvel, right? With the help of them. Do something, man. We see this happen. What? This happened in what movie that we know? Birds of Prey, right? The Emancipation that somehow morphed into the Harley Quinn movie, right? But it was supposed to be Birds of Prey.
It was supposed to be Birds of Prey. Yeah, it wasn't even close to Birds of Prey.
Yeah, you just had this. For all intents and purposes, man, you just had this freaking estrogen movie here, man. That's all it was, man. Just female versus female. All right. And like the villain was so horrible, man.
Horrible.
This villain was horrible, dude. Horrible.
I couldn't understand like why they made the choices that they made when it came to the villains, and then these three women, and then especially Monica Rambeau. I think Monica Rambeau was a disastrous character, man. They had this woman every 5 minutes stopping and explaining the movie to everybody. You know, it's like, oh, okay, everybody gather around. And then here's Carol Danvers and Kamala Khan just standing like this while Monica Rambeau says, so here's what's happening. We got to make sure that we do this, and this. And then we got to do this. And it's like, who wrote this trash? And it's like they did it intentionally, like they wanted to give the black girl magic, black girl magic.
Super smart.
Right. They wanted to make the black girl the smart girl. It's like, all right, let's stop and let's make her the super smart one, and let's have her explain everything to these two idiots. And it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure Carol Danvers probably could figure out what's going on. They didn't need that. They didn't need this to happen at all. The whole situation that they set this character up was to make her look smarter than everybody else. So I guess that was the point. But it's just that pandering bullshit that we can't stand, man. Give me something real, bro. That's go ahead.
I'm so confused in these movies. You just brought up, when do the superheroes freaking eat? They never eat. All the power and all the stuff they're exerting. Where do they eat?
Well, right, T. I don't need them. I don't need a scene. See, everybody, this is where T be going off the rails. I don't need a scene of superheroes eating, man. I'm good. I understand at some point in time they got some grub. I don't need a scene of that, bro.
We've been knowing we weren't gonna get a good movie for years now. We've been knowing now. And it showed up. It's finally over with. Okay, cool, right? And it doesn't have to be, I think us as fans, man, it doesn't have to be $1 billion movie. It doesn't have to it just has to be good content. What you've been producing, you haven't produced good content since I would say, well, you got away with that Guardians movie, man, but you really haven't produced content that gels with what your initial initiative is. You have to understand, for some people, these comic book movies are like the holy grail of stuff, man. I just want to see my favorite character live action, man. I want to see them do what they were intended to do as a character for development, man. Stop trying to make this like in the movie, there's a part where they say there's a character that says he's 300 years old, but I'm only left to assume he must be a Skrull. Like I just don't like, and that whole thing,
it's a train wreck. Now, what went wrong? If you had to give your number one thing that went wrong with this movie, okay? Disney's coming up. They're knocking on your door. All right. I said, Mr. Williams, what went wrong with this film? Talk to us. Tell us the number one thing, and then they're gonna leave. Give them the one thing that they did wrong.
You wrote this movie completely backwards, wrong. You didn't need 3 characters to wipe out a mediocre character. That just didn't. You had a mediocre villain. You should have had more villains in this movie, and it should have made way more sense. The plot to this movie and how we get to where we're going to go for the future is awful, and they're going to have to fix this majorly. and they just keep going down this rabbit hole. And you can't market this movie well. You can't. You can't. There's nothing you could do to market. You spent you would have been well better suited. Tell me if you agree. You would have been more suited with one of the mid-credit scenes in the middle of the movie. That would have changed the whole scope, and everybody would have been interested because that was great. You didn't need to, because the rest of the stuff was just fluff. It was just, It didn't even need to be there, man. It did. There are. Tell me if I'm wrong. There's a scene. There is a sequence in a segment of the movie where it does not make sense why those characters are there, and we're gonna have to leave them, and that's it. The end. It's like almost if you got.
Wait, what sequence is that? Which sequence was that?
When the scroll king, when they went to their world and they're trying to.
Oh, the beginning. Okay, I got you. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna, like, what is this thing that you're using to make this thing go the way it just was stupid, man. It was a stupid movie. I know I said earlier, man, dang, man, like, but it was a stupid movie, man.
And now you're coming off, and now it's not okay no more, right? It's a stupid movie.
I'm going over what I'm thinking in my mind. I'm like, it's a stupid movie, man.
Stupid movie. Well, if I had to give the one thing that I think that they could have did better, again, it starts right at the beginning. It starts right at the writing phase of this thing. You wrote this movie trying to virtue signal, to the wrong audience. The audience that this movie is for, again, is men, so write it with men in mind. It's like you said, sex appeal. We like sexy superheroes. I mean, call me sexist or whatever, but hey, when you open up a comic book and you see a sexy, character, oh, hey, this is more interesting than some stick figures or whatever, Yeah, hey, I'm just saying, like, Scarlett Johansson brought a lot to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Say whatever you want to say about it. But you're writing this for the male demographic. The male demographic likes certain things. And it seems like they want to go away from what men enjoy and men like. And they're trying to say, oh, yeah, like you said, we're going to make something for everybody. But everybody ain't coming to see this. 65% audience was males. And look, as bad as this movie did with this $47 million, it was still primarily men that went and supported it. Now, imagine if they did a movie that was machismo, not even machismo. Let me not say that. What if they made a movie that was targeting what men enjoy about comic books, what men enjoy about superheroes, instead of what the 35-year-old, cat mom enjoys about superheroes, which, again, they don't enjoy it. Those chicks that wrote this crap, that's who they wrote this movie for. It's like we always say, Hollywood writes movies for itself. They don't write movies for the audience at large. They write movies just for the handful of their friends in that little woke bubble. And so because they write films like that, that's where we are.
I'm going to tell you how, because what's your thing? Campy, right? This thing is campy. Let me tell you how dumb. There's a scene in this movie where they're on some space elevator. No, they're evacuating something, right? And they land on Earth. Nobody has a seatbelt on. Nobody has anything. And comes out, everybody scratch free. No paralyzation, no nothing. And that's where you go to The Boys and you go to Invincible and you say, man, wow, okay, here's something believable, dude.
Right.
Wow.
Like, completely unbelievable. I remember that. I remember thinking in my head during that scene where these cats crash into the planet. And I'm like, y'all just crash from outer space into the planet. Not one person got a seatbelt on. And then everybody's just getting out like, oh, man. Woo.
Hey, guys.
Damn, man. Everybody all right? I'm like, y'all should be
whoa, I'm fine. Nothing happened.
Yeah, man, I remember that. Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. That was crazy.
Your disbelief. Suspend your disbelief. Oh, matter of fact, we don't need oxygen to go back and forth. Just what?
Yeah, like that whole thing would have been depressurized as soon as they opened it. Splat, like everybody would have been dead. Yeah, man, again, but that's what happens when you ain't writing movies. You're writing movies with a certain mentality in mind, and you're not writing it for the fans that's actually going to come and watch this thing. All right, I want to get your thoughts on this before we head out, T, because this one right here is talking about the future, right? So we said that Marvel still has a future if they do it right. All right, Here we go. Captain America 3, bump back. Deadpool 3, bump back. Thunderbolts, bump back. Blade, bump back. They are bumping back everything right now.
Again?
Okay. Because what choices do they have?
Is this
They
again?
This is again. Okay. This article just came out yesterday. You can see it November 10. This is on Bounding in the Comics. Wow. They just bumped back everything yet again, T. These cats can't seem to get movies to come out on time. They got to go back. They got to rewrite. They got to reshoot. They got to get new directors and writers constantly. And it's like, okay, Marvel, I mean, they've completely lost it, man. And I think this is just making fans check out even more and more and more, because people were probably looking forward to Deadpool 3. People were looking forward to Blade. I don't know about Captain America Brave New World. I don't know about Black Captain America. But I know they was looking forward to Deadpool. I know Cass was looking forward to Blade. And now here's where we are. Nobody's like, man, I'm done, you know? So talk to me, T. What do you think about this situation with Marvel constantly bumping stuff back? Do you think they can fix it, or is this just delaying the inevitable?
This one I have to chop up to. This is an economic resource because they don't feel like the money is going to be there as an economy, because they got analysts together, right?
Okay.
I think that what they're saying is, hey, let them starve for a little bit so they'll be begging to see something, right? Sort of like the buildup we got with that last Spider-Man, right? You had a buildup because you're like, man, I just give me something, man, something that is like traditional, and it did well, man. You saw, but that didn't transition well over to Batman, the new Batman, because everybody's like, that's not a believable Batman. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, what are you doing? You're going against traditions that people are comfortable with. Nobody's not going against it. I think they're pushing back these dates because they know they've got crap and they got to do reshoots, man. And their trouble is they're shooting to make so much money from these movies. It's unattainable. This Black Falcon, Black Falcon, Captain America, man. I don't want to see that, man. I have no interest in that, man. That's not
all, man.
His costume is whack, dude. His costume is whack.
You talking about this one right here, right? This guy's this shit is trash, man. I laughed at first when I first saw this costume on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man. I practically cried, man.
It's so whack, dude.
So terrible, so terrible. Looks
then I understand they were trying to go back to the traditional one and do a blend, man. But this so whack, dude.
Nah, man, this
needs to be
trash,
Falcon, right? Man. He just needs to be Falcon, man. He looks like Condor, man.
Ugh. Yeah, exactly. Now, look, Blade is something that I'm interested in because I enjoyed original Blade. I think Mahershala Ali is a great actor. So I want them to get Blade right. If they're going to do it, I want them to do it right. I have a feeling what they probably should do is just separate Blade completely from the MCU. Just like, nah, you know what? Blade is over there somewhere. We're not even worried about it. It's not going to be a part of the MCU. We're just going to make Blade movies and just leave it at that. That's kind of how I wanted to see it.
Let me tell you what I would do if I was MD. What I would do, I have Disney Plus as the platform. What I would do is I would do 30-minute specials of the movies that I want to have. All those movies that I want to be a 30-minute special, like it's you have to see this before you see the movie. I would do 30-minute specials, man. I would do 8 30-minute specials with all those movies that they have planned, and I would introduce the audience. I would get buzzed into going into Disney Plus. It's 30 minutes, man. That's
well, you know, they doing they changing it up now, because when this Echo series comes out, they're gonna call that, I forget what they call it, but they're gonna change it up where they're gonna let you know what you have to watch and what you don't have to watch. So they're gonna say, oh, if you just want to watch this as a standalone, you can watch this as a standalone. You ain't got to worry about this is Echo, and you got to watch this, and you got to watch now. Echo itself is a spinoff of Hawkeye. It's a spinoff of Daredevil. So I don't even understand why they would even say that, but they are going to try to push that idea that you don't have to watch everything. So that's coming next for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You don't have to watch everything. Yeah.
I think what we've seen in this last phase of movies ever since Endgame is what we've seen Marvel, we've seen Disney believe themselves into this Marvel universe. Before they were cool, man. They didn't do anything, man. But you've seen them bleed themselves into it, which they did with Star Wars too, man. And We don't have the right approach. Like when we watched Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi should have been a fire movie, man. It should have been a great movie, dude.
A
But then
lot of people like Shang-Chi.
you had that little cuddly animal in there, man. But Shang-Chi was just a story that didn't mean anything, man. He hasn't been
That
in
shit was
anything
terrible,
since.
man.
It didn't make sense. Like it's like the Eternals, man. You had a
Right.
great concept there. Great concept there. That whole thing where they were like, hey, y'all are just robots, y'all just moving on, and we just reprogram you and we sent you. That was the squirrel moment. That's what I like. When you give me the squirrel moment where I'm like, what's that? They don't have that in this phase of movies. That's why we keep talking about, hey man, they're gonna do phase jive and phase fix. You're gonna have to fix this whole thing, dude. You're gonna have to, because the foundation.
Here's the thing, though, T. Can they fix it though? Or have they
Yes.
lost the audience? That's my question. You know,
Yes.
they can they can return to making good content. I'm not saying that they can't do that, but have they already lost the people? You know, because the people was with them all the way through phases 1, 2, and 3. Have they lost the people, or will the people return? That's my question.
They have not lost the people. They have not lost the thing that. Well, I take it back. Let me dial that back. Let me recant my statement.
Yeah. Because I think
they have lost the people. They
Mhm.
lost the people to what you're always talking about is anime, manga. They've lost the people because the happy meal that you're giving the people, they don't want. They don't want this happy meal. They're like, no, man, I don't want that. And you know what? This is just a microcosm of a macrocosm. How you screwed the kids in 2020, man. So they don't have no allegiance or no loyalty to you right now, and that's
None.
disrupting things. The people who grew up on these Marvel movies, you screwed them in 2020 as a public. And they say, man, what am I getting? I'm getting crap here, man. I'm not invested in this. And oops, by the way, I can't afford to go to the movies. I don't want to.
Right.
So a lot of
that's the other part of it. Yeah, the ticket prices are getting super expensive, and it's like, you want me to come and watch this trash for them ticket prices? You already have just given me nothing but crap content. So why would I show up to the theaters and support this? Yeah, 100%. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
No. Look. We on the same page as this dude. We've been saying this for almost 3-4 years now, dude. I told you, man. They're not going to get right in the movie. I'm looking right at you. They're not going to get right in the movie industry until 2025, and I'm saying mid 2025. If you're lucky, there's nothing coming. They're pushing all these movies back because they know they need the economy to get right, and they're not going to get right. It's inevitable for you to see that. They don't have a plan to fix this, dude. They're just kind of kicking the can down the road, and then they'll make the adjustments later.
But I think when it comes to, can they get the audience back? Now, they've lost the audience. I think everybody would agree with that. Will people come back to Marvel once they start cranking out Secret Wars, or they got the Kang Dynasty? They got this whole situation with Jonathan Majors. I don't know how they're going to get around that situation, because now they're either going to have to recast this cat, or they're going to have to change villains. And they should have probably already had, me and you have talked about this to death, that they probably should have already had the Fantastic Four introduced, so you could have Dr. Doom as your villain, and then bring in Secret Wars, and not use the new Secret Wars, use the old original OG Secret Wars with Dr. Doom at the center. That would have been amazing, but they're not doing that.
Did y'all see Loki?
Oh shit, man. No, look, see, T, I haven't seen Loki yet because I don't even have the interest to watch it. I know you said to go and watch it. I'm gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna have some thoughts on it. But it's like everything was set up for them. They had Dr. Doom. Oh, okay, we just got Fantastic Four. Bam. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the Fantastic Four. I would have did that right after Endgame. I would have already had a script and a cast ready to go. And then even with the pandemic, all right, we're going to shoot through the pandemic. That's fine. But by 2021, we will have a Fantastic Four movie in theaters. Think about this, folks. You could have had a Fantastic Four in theaters, would have introduced Dr. Doom, and now you are already getting set up for Fantastic Four 2. And now you got Dr. Doom as the main villain for this universe going forward. But instead, they decided to go with Kang. And now Jonathan Majors is throwing a monkey wrench in that with his legal issues. So what are we going to do? Well, now we're going to have to switch up and change up. And it's like, man, you guys have dropped the ball. Hugely dropped the ball.
His legal issues are more interesting than his acting.
Hey, man. I'm taking it that his acting isn't good in the last episode of Loki. It's more of that hammy overacting that we're getting. His acting is not great. I understand where he's going for, and it's just like you're just not pulling it off, bro. You're just not pulling it off.
He was much better in Kang. I mean, not Car. Sorry, he was much better in
Creed.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was much better. He was very maniacal and just.
I don't like this. I don't like this character.
What's my whole thing? What's my whole thing? I'm not here to see the superheroes because the superheroes are going to give me what I want within the last 15 minutes of the movie. I want to see the villain. I want to see the villain.
The villain makes it interesting. Yeah. 1000%. 1000%. All right, folks, that'll do it. T, do you have anything else you want to shout out or say or anything, man?
I want to say, hey, the whole thing is go see the movie, see it for yourselves. Definitely tune in to the DA. I'm telling you, he's got some great verdicts on what he does. Hey, his content is amazing. I'm telling you. Hey, we go back almost 30-some years. Hey, he is the best at what he does. All right? I'll catch up with you guys.
All right, T, I know you're a busy man. We'll see you guys later. All right, peace out, bro. All right, folks, that'll do it for this little quick conversation with T. I want to appreciate everybody stepping in here and, watching that. And I want to appreciate T for making some time just to have a quick conversation with him about the Marvels. We'll have him on some more because, again, we go back. We enjoy hanging out, talking, all of that kind of stuff. So we'll have T on some more for some little quick conversations so where we could jump into some different topics. But you guys, let me know what y'all think about this whole conversation. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.